This is Hashtag Finance, presented to you by the Canadian Securities Exchange, the exchange for entrepreneurs. With your host, Barrington Miller.
Welcome to an edition of Hashtag Finance. This is actually a special edition because we've started something called Mining Mondays. So as our first unofficial official guest, we have Mike Sieb from Getchell, a director and senior technical correspondent representative for Getchell Gold, listed on the Canadian Securities Exchange. Thank you, Mike, for joining us today.
Well, thanks, Barrington, for being here.
How is everyone doing? How's your family? How's everyone during this this COVID-19?
They're actually doing great. The funny thing is, when you kind of wake up in the morning, the first thing you do is open up your computer and work all day. And I've actually found myself that I'm working longer hours and harder.
You know what? I don't think you're the only one. I had an Instagram live, and I decided to like shower and change and stuff, and apparently I need more than 5 minutes for it because I was scrambling. Normally you just roll over and splash and then start typing. My setup's right in front of our bed, so I've been relegated to the bedroom as my office. So
I am niched into the basement at the base of my stairs, so that's kind of where I
well, my wife has taken over the basement. My kids have their rooms on the main floor, and this is where I'm at. So yeah. How did you get started with Getchell? How did you get started in the business, first of all?
I've been doing this in the mining and exploration industry for a little over 30 years now. For the first half of that was as a kind of in the field geologist or VP of exploration. And then for the latter half of that term, it would be in the executive management role. So I've been doing this for a while, and I know the business.
So you started when you were 5. That's incredible. I can't believe it, folks. Wait, we're not allowed to do that anymore. And what is special about Getchell? What drew you to it, or how did it find you?
It actually found me. There's a good friend of mine that I play hockey with. That I love
hockey. I'm a hockey head.
Oh, awesome! Yeah. So after one of the games, he approached me and he said that he was a long-time believer in a company, and they were looking for some assistance for guidance moving forward. And he asked if I would consider joining. And knowing that he's an extremely shrewd individual, I paid heed immediately. Mm-hmm. And I performed my own due diligence, and it came up stellar. The backers, the management behind it, huge successful track records across the industry. They were well positioned in Nevada, which is actually kind of one of my favorite jurisdictions.
Okay, why is that?
It's ranked number 1 in production in the States. There are 23 producing mines that produce about 5.5 million ounces of gold a year. And if you tally that up at today's gold prices, that's about $8 or $9 billion in gold that is produced in Nevada in any given year. They're ranked 4th in the world. And so it's no wonder that they're so mining friendly.
Wow, no, that's awesome. And speaking of which, Getchell has been on a little bit of a movement upwards, to say the least. Does it have to do with the price of gold? Does it have to do with what you're doing at Getchell? Or?
It's a combination of things. It's almost like a perfect storm. Everything's in alignment right now. There's a certain, I'll say, keen interest in gold right now. There's a number of factors out there that completely support it as a safe haven. And the company has just recently completed a sort of like a major acquisition that puts it front and center in the junior mining sector in Nevada.
Are you allowed to delve into that, or?
Absolutely.
Oh, good, good.
You,
Whew.
you would have a hard time stopping me, actually.
Yeah, tell us about it.
So, so in January, Getchell completed a definitive option agreement for 2 properties. One of them is called Fondaway Canyon, and the other one is Dixie Comstock. And they're both past producers. They've had historically decades of exploration on it and known gold in the ground. And they've never been taken to the next step. And when I reviewed the properties, it was so self-evident that these properties were kind of going to be game changers for a company.
Wow, that's just
Yeah.
salivating at the thought.
So I mean, if I want to talk about sort of like the flagship one of the bunch, that's the Fondaway Canyon property, and the extent of the gold that has been defined to date is 3.5 kilometers long. It's about 800 meters wide, and if you go from the lowest drill intersection to kind of like the highest surface expression up the canyon, that's about a 700-meter vertical extent of known gold mineralization.
Holy crap!
So, yeah.
Now, some of our listeners in our audience are not as deep into the mining sector. What would you look for, or what do you look for when you're looking for a property or looking at an acquisition? What really attracts you?
Well, it's pretty obvious. It's either going to slap you in the face or it's not.
Okay.
And you're looking for the opportunity. You're always you don't want to be struggling and creating something. Like working really hard to just kind of move it incrementally. You really want to kind of look for a property or a project that has a very solid foundation to start from, and it has a sort of like a glaring upside potential. That's really kind of what you're always looking for.
And so I guess for you, COVID has been, and for Getchell, has been a little bit of a blessing, if I want to put a silver lining or a gold lining on it.
It has not impacted us whatsoever, and it's actually given us some breathing space.
Oh, okay.
Because when we acquired the properties, and I'm just going to focus on Fondaway Canyon,
Yeah.
it came with a data set that was voluminous. There's been historically about 735 drill holes drilled on the property across 50 years and multiple operators. So the first thing that needed to be done, absolutely the immediate task ahead of us, was to kind of take all that data package and bring it together into a very usable format, so we can do something with it. You want to really find out, like where the past operators were right, where they were wrong, where should the gold be, and then you plan your drill program to basically target where you think the gold should be. And so that's what we've been doing. We've been it's not outwardly active, but it's necessary. And so the next stage now actually is a lot more fun. Now you actually take all that data, you build your revised geological model, and you kind of your eyes open up like chipmunk eyes, because you kind of see where the gold should be and you just want to drill it. So that's the stage that we're at right now.
And what happens? What happens after you find gold? Take us through a little bit of the process.
At the property right now is starting off with a really good foundation. The historic resource is approximately 400,000 ounces in the indicated category and 600,000 ounces in the inferred. So that's an awesome kind of base just to start from.
Right.
So what you want to do is you kind of want to pull it all together into a mining plan, because if you have disparate gold that doesn't hang together or it's too low grade, you could keep on working on it, but there's no end goal in sight. Right. Whereas here on this project, as we add more ounces, to this body of mineralization. And of course, we hunt for new discoveries because I know that they're there. They just haven't been drilled yet. You turn it from a concept into, you advance it towards an operating mine, and that's kind of the goal.
How are I'm going to say the politics, the regulators, the administrators, the different bodies and levels of government that you have to work with, hopefully, and not against, in this project and any of your other projects?
Well, I mean, it's a godsend that it's Nevada. Of course, anywhere in the world, you have to jump through the regulatory hoops and the permitting. You can't get away from that. But again, there's certain areas that it's a more of a defined pathway with, of course, you can see the successes around you of people who have gone through the process. So it provides us with a really good comfort that there's an avenue that you can actually take an exploration project from the exploration stage to an operating mine. It's fairly evident as in Nevada.
Now, what does the rest of 2020 look like in your crystal ball for the price of gold and going into 2021 and beyond even?
Well, I'm definitely a proponent of the gold market. You know, when the price of gold is low, you scratch your head and wonder, well, why is the price of gold low? It should be higher because all the factors kind of say that it should be higher.
Right.
Well, we're in a situation whereby the price of gold is high, and all the factors that are supporting that are evident. And I do not see the underlying element of that changing moving forward. So I am quite a strong believer that we're going to actually see the price of gold strengthen through the year. There are some like major extreme forecasts out there by actually some reputable sources, but I'm going to take a little more conservative approach to that. But I don't see it weakening.
Now, I used to, in my younger days, I used to trade, and I loved commodities. I loved oil and copper. Copper was great. Nickel, awesome. Gold, I would get slaughtered every time. The gold bugs are a unique bunch, and I think it has to do. Well, for me, is it a currency or is it a mineral? I don't know, and it seemed to flip hour to hour, day to day. So I'm, I watch it from afar. I respect it. It's, oh no, that's great. Where did the name Getchell come from?
Well, I think management figured that Carlin was a little too presumptuous. No, sir. No, really. The management was looking for a name that reflected the company, and Getchell definitely reflects the Nevada focus. I mean, Getchell is sort of entrenched in the history of the region.
Okay.
And while the company was pondering and bouncing about the different names, they came across the fact that Getchell, the rights to the name had lapsed.
Oh.
And so they grabbed it, and it became Getchell Gold Corp. And there's a lot of goodwill and recognition that comes along with that name.
Oh no, that's awesome. And where are you? Where in the world are you? I mean, I know you're at the bottom of your stairs, but where are you?
It's extremely easy to get to. It's about a 2-hour drive east of Reno. So
Okay.
most of it is along paved highways, except for the last little bit, and it's on a gravel road that is flat, straight, and you only have to slow down by the time you get to the base of the canyon.
Well, I've only made it to Las Vegas a couple times here and there, maybe 3. Dare I say 4? We'll stick with 3. 3 sounds good. Um, and I don't have many. I don't have much experience in that kind of climate. And I remember the first time I went in a pool and came out, and I was dry. And I'm looking around, and I looked at my beers that were there, and how many did I have? And I went back in the pool and came out. Went to reach for my towel, and I was dry. I couldn't figure it out.
Yeah.
And somebody's like, "You're in the desert. That's why it's a desert."
Yes.
Let's talk a little bit about the people that you work with, the people at Getchell. How are they? Are they like you? Are they conservative? A little bit of gamblers? What are they like?
Well, you have to be a gambler in this industry. I
Yeah.
mean, you have to have that treasure hunting, gambling gene. Otherwise, you're not going to last very long. You have to be the eternal optimist. The management team is quite varied in their expertise and focus, but when you put all of us together, it's a fairly strong group. And that's only talking about the direct management team. The supporters behind us, the funders, the backers of the company, are some of the best supporting group that I've seen.
What's the differentiator? I'm an investor, or a soon-to-be investor, and I'm looking at gold plays and gold companies. What's Getchell's differentiator between you and everybody else?
A couple of things. One, we're the whole package. A lot of people just swear by the management team, and they don't really they weight or they weigh the projects lower than the management team. Other investors will look and they'll weigh the projects and the market, like a lot more than the management team. But we're pretty much the whole package, right from the technical people who are putting the geological model together, all the way to the people who are on the phone all day long, just raving about kind of how good everything is. It's kind of a very good place to be.
Are you eyeballing any other projects? Are you looking at stuff sort of in the distance?
Not at the moment. I mean, Fondaway Canyon is a big nut. There's no doubt about that, and it's going to take just an immediate concerted effort to properly address it. And so that's where we can see the best bang for the buck in relationship to the added value that it's going to provide. So that's going to be our immediate focus in the short term. A couple of our other projects have some significant merits as well. The Dixie Comstock property that came along with the acquisition of the Fondaway Canyon is basically just on the opposite flank of the Stillwater Range from us. So as the crow flies, it's probably about 20 kilometers away. It's also had historic small-scale mining on it. It comes with a historic resource, and it's an extremely good complementary project to Fondaway. The Starpoint property to the north of Fondaway has a very broad and consistent surface mineralization expression of gold and copper. And people have been kind of looking there for one thing, but they've completely missed the thought process whereby you're looking at all this mineralization on surface, there has to be a major driver for it. And we're talking kilometers long. And so nobody's really ever kind of pegged the underlying, mineralizing engine that's beneath there somewhere. So that's a kind of a great project to drill down the road here as sort of like a bonus to what we're doing at Fondaway.
Now, how would people that want to participate and get involved and become a part of this, instead of just buying stock in the open market? How is there a way that people can get in on this?
Not at the moment. We just currently completed a financing
Okay.
It was filled extremely quickly, and we have quite a number of warrants that are currently in the money. So we're kind of self-financed over the
Wow.
next while.
This is incredible because
And so we've actually had to turn down people who wanted to give us money at the moment. So yes. So
you know that nobody is really saying that during these times. Like you're saying things that, wow.
yes.
No, that's incredible. That's incredible. Well, I know at the Canadian Securities Exchange, we are very, very honored and pleased to be a part of it. And thank you for choosing to list on us. And we hope that you remain. And we wish you nothing but continued success, happiness. We hope you find all the gold, and to gain shareholder value and prosperity moving forward.
Yeah, no, absolutely, Barrington, and thank you.
Thank you very much. My name is Barrington Miller. I've been your host with Hashtag Finance on the new edition of Mining Mondays, and I'm here with Mike Sieb from Getchell Gold Corp. Thank you very much.
Thanks.